afternoon, everybody. Oh, can you hear me? It's going to be echoey. This is THFC Till I Die, the home of Tottenham past and present. And I've got here with me today the wonderful Queen Ellie. How are you today, Ellie?
I'm really well, Mia. I'm looking forward to today's show. It's all girls today, so let's
Yeah,
get crack-a-lacking.
yeah, indeed. It is Ladies' Day today.
Yeah,
So we've got lots to talk about. Obviously, we've got lots of Tottenham news going on. So yes, let's talk about the first topic. So Parliament's Tourism Committee calls on Ramaphosa to halt Tottenham Hotspur's sponsorship deal. We know there was a big uproar, wasn't there, about this sponsorship deal that was going to happen,
yeah,
and it does seem like that they are calling for it to be stopped, which I can completely understand, seeing as in South Africa they're going through some really difficult times, aren't they? And I
yeah.
don't think it's the right thing to do personally. But what do you think?
Yeah, I think we have to be politically correct in this aspect, Mia. Otherwise there's going to be a lot of backlash for the club, and we don't need that. We don't need any controversy adding on to other things that are going on at the club as well. So, yeah, we have to steer clear of that one. Yeah,
Yeah, and I think that it's just really bad timing as well for like South African government to think that it was okay to do it was really
yeah,
it was bad on them as well, really, to put that forward to say, oh, let's go and put all this money on a sponsorship. Like I think that was probably ill advised from them as well. But Tottenham should have known better and probably steered a bit clear of it. They, could
yeah.
have seen foreseen that it would have been an issue. So yeah, I don't really understand why they didn't really foresee that.
Yeah, the good thing is that we've realised it now and we've pulled out in regards to that. So sometimes you can make big mistakes, but as long as you realise later on down the line. But this time we've nipped it in the bud early before it's even got legs to grow. So it's a good thing, Mia. Good thing.
Yeah, no, it's definitely.
Yeah.
Your lovely niece is in here, Julia. Hello,
Yes. All
good
right,
afternoon.
Angela. Yeah,
Hope you're
she's
well.
lovely. Yeah, she's got bad back problems, poor thing.
Oh dear. So this is what the comments have been said were having considered the pertinent issue to Tottenham Hotspur sponsorship deal and the instability, the SA tourism, the committee recommends that the Minister of Finances and the President of the country should the proposed deal between SA Tourism and Tottenham Hotspur Football Club on hold as the committee consider it's not the best interest of the tourism industry and the country, which is
Yeah,
true. It
yeah,
isn't the best thing for the country. They would have spent all that money when they could be putting it into the actual country. So
yeah.
I think that is very fair. I think it is fair, and I wasn't a fan of it when I heard of it. To be honest, I was a bit like, oh, not great.
Mm,
But yeah, no, like you
dodgy.
say, we've rectified it, and hopefully now that's it. It's that's something we can just put in the past, and it's done
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
I've got
true.
I've got a wonderful super chat as well, Adrian
Nice
Chia.
one. Nice
Thank
one,
you so much,
Adrian.
Adrian. We do really appreciate it. Thank
Yeah.
you for the awesome stream on Sugar Years. Sorry I wasn't able to join live due to the time zone, but I listened to it all today. Keep up the great work.
Oh,
That's
thank you.
that's lovely. Yeah, obviously
Yeah,
Ellie, Philip, and Dermot did a wonderful job doing with the Sugar Years. So I did listen to it myself. So yeah, no, it was a really good show. So thank you so much for that, Adrian. We do appreciate it.
yeah.
Got Carl Simpson in the house. Good afternoon,
Poor
ladies.
Carl.
Good afternoon, Mr. Simpson.
Love him.
Um, so yeah, and I do think that obviously, like I say, in this time, I think that it's probably best. And I wonder who we're going to actually approach next for a sponsor. That's going to be interesting to see what happens next with the sponsorships, because obviously
Yeah,
now we're down the sponsor,
I
so
know. We'll have
it
to
will be
start
interesting.
searching quickly because, we got to get the money in as well because sponsorships help the club as well, you know.
Yeah, they do
Yeah,
absolutely.
big time.
So if anyone's out there who wants to sponsor Tottenham, just phone up Mr. Levy.
Yeah, get on the blower.
See what he's saying. He'll probably try and knock you down to a packet of polos and 50p, but that's fine.
Yeah. Maybe two
Um,
packets of polo.
well, that's pushing it a little bit.
Yeah,
Dermot bought Austin Groves, his train ticket. Oh yeah,
That was funny last night.
that was very funny.
Dermot was really good last night.
He was on top form. Good afternoon, Mia and Ellie. Big up all in the chat. Good afternoon, Paul. Hope you're well. So yeah, so the next thing we're going to talk about is Spurs provide latest update on new hotel and homes at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium complex. So obviously there's a lot of going on with the rebuilding at Tottenham. So within the financial results, one page states the Northumberland development project is now substantially complete with Lily White House and the opening of Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. There are a number of projects at the southern end of the site, hotel and residential, which will be ultimately developed when appropriate.
Yeah.
So obviously I think that was all within the contract, wasn't it? When they built up, when they agreed the permission, the planning permission in general does always come with some sort of additional things that you've got to provide for building up around Tottenham. And to be fair, it did need a bit of building up. I'm not going to say,
It's shabby.
It was a bad thing, but obviously it's probably to do with the financial. People probably are thinking about the financial side, who gains from it, because I think there's like a cinema and stuff. So I'm not sure about. I'm not sure about who owns what, and with the money side of it. I think it's obviously something that was needed, and I do understand that people kind of see it as maybe not something that was positive, but it had to be done with the building of Tottenham. They weren't allowed to build Tottenham. They wouldn't have got the permission basically otherwise. So I do understand that people are not maybe a fan of it, but it was something that when we built the stadium was a requirement. It is almost pretty much a requirement when they do that contract.
Yeah, true. And also I think they've made provision for all the shop owners that are going to lose out because of it. So they have thought of them. It's not as if they're pushing them to one side. There is a big story coming out about that. So there's lots of shopkeepers opposite the Spurs ground who are going to lose their place, but they're going to be relocating elsewhere near the ground anyway, so they won't lose business. That's one good thing. Spurs will look after them, because they've got an obligation to the club and to the people that are losing their businesses around that area as well, because they're not going to just bulldoze the place and not let them have another place to build and have their businesses, because that would be unfair. Yeah,
no, absolutely. And also, if they do build other things, don't forget that's probably additional jobs and additional housing for people that might not have had housing and jobs. So in a way, like a cinema being open is more jobs for people.
It is. So and that's what Haringey Council want, Mia. They want to create more, smarten up the area as well to make it look nice, and also bringing in those extra jobs. That's fantastic for the local people, because it will be the local people that get the jobs, I'm sure. They'll make sure that that's built into the contract as well, that local people get the jobs.
And I'm sure. Dermot here says the area does need building up, to be honest. Tottenham hasn't changed since I was a kid in the 80s. No, it's true. Every area needs some revamping, doesn't it, at some point? You can't just leave it as it is. So, I do think that obviously, like I say, there is the positive side of it with the extra jobs, more buildings, so more housing for people, and you can't really knock them for that, because that's obviously something that we are really lacking in this country, is having enough houses for people. So some of it's probably social as well. I would have thought they would have put that into the contract, that some of it has to be social housing.
And it's good for the Tottenham people as well to have a cinema, because that brings people together. I mean, the nearest one to them is where I live in Enfield, and there's one in Edmonton as well, but it's still a trek for them, so that to have one right near the Spurs ground, it's going to be marvellous for all the local people.
Can I just wait? I didn't mean to pop on, but I just want to have my 2 pence on this.
Of course.
When I went to Spurs last February, I walked down the Tottenham High Road, and it has not changed since I was a kid in the 80s. The same shops still there. It's so downgraded, Tottenham, the Tottenham High Road. It really is. It hasn't changed one iota. I think it's a good thing that they want to rebuild the area. I think it's a good thing that they had to put it into the agreement that they had to redevelop the area.
Yeah.
But I would have rather than redeveloped the area and kept White Hart Lane, and then put the money they put into the stadium into the team. Now that's just my own opinion on it.
Yeah.
But the area does need redeveloping. It really is. It's been let to go. It's been let to probably the worst parts of London.
What I would say about the stadium, though, Dermot, is that by having a bigger stadium means more people, which means more money that can go into the club anyway, because obviously that's the thing, isn't it?
I'm just thinking about the homeless people that are around there and the deprived areas that are in Tottenham. It is a very, very deprived area. There isn't enough homes for the people in the homeless, and I think that's where maybe this Carl Simpson. How did he know I was a Trekkie? No, I'm not saying this. I think where governments have failed in tackling the homeless problem, like they have in this country as well, I think by putting into a contract, look, you've got to build so many social homes for people. I think it's a good thing. Now, people can complain about the cinema. People can complain about the other bits and pieces. But the important things of social homes for people that need homes is more important. And to redevelop the area. Tottenham needs redeveloping and regenerating. We know this. And look, Ellie, I was born in Tottenham. I'm Irish to the backbone. I'm still a Tottenham lad. Tottenham is my first because I was born in North Middlesex Hospital, same as your daughters as well.
Yeah.
Know Enfield, know the area very well. And to be honest with you, Ellie, that part of North London's been left behind.
It has.
When it comes to West London and East London and that. So
especially when you walk down Northumberland Park, it's very shabby.
Yeah.
The High Road's bad enough, but the Northumberland Park as well. Yeah,
just a question for you two to discuss before I ask Scotty to beam me back up to the Enterprise again. But that was for Carl, by the way. Where do you want to? Do you think other football clubs should follow this model? That if we're going to build something, we've got to put something back into the local area. I'm sorry for popping on. I do apologise. I know this is a ladies' show, but I do apologise. I just wanted my saying that, and I apologise. I did put it in the private chat. I just wanted to pop on for a minute, but sorry about that. All right, Scotty, beam me up.
Funny man. Yeah, no, I agree with Dermot. I think that should be a stipulation for all teams to do that, all clubs. Mia, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I think so. I think that the thing is, it's important to remember that when they're building a stadium, that it's not just a stadium. You know, people are affected around the stadium. And I think that to build it all up is a good idea. It's nice to think that they care enough to think, yeah, we're going to make sure that we put everything, we put into the plans that they have to build it up and they have to improve it. And if the area needs improving, then yeah, they should 100% make sure that it gets put into the contracts. Then people, they know that they're going to be helping as well, not just building a stadium and being a bit selfish in a way.
Yeah.
And be thinking of just the club, it's about the whole area, because as well, it makes people endear to you as well, like as a club. You want people to think that you're a decent club, that that you're morally, you're good, that you actually want to help people around you. It isn't just about the club.
Yeah, and I would expect all the profits from everything to go back into the area as well, rather than into our club, because that's only fair for the profits of the, the ventures that they're building to be pumped back into the area to make it even better in other parts of Tottenham as well, not just around the stadium, I would imagine.
Well, this is where I'm not entirely sure where the ground lies on that. I'm not sure whether it goes back into the club or if the money is given, if the council have said that they have to give that money and put back in. I'm not entirely sure what the actual stipulations of the contract are. I can't say 100% because I actually don't know. I've not looked into it enough to know, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's true. But I think it's Tavistock that is doing the real estate, so they've got an obligation. So it depends what they've written into the contract. I haven't actually looked into it. Maybe Dermot knows. I don't know if you can enlighten us on that, Dermot. So it's an important thing that the money goes back into the area, I believe, rather than into the club, because we can make our own revenues. You must know a bit more about that.
I've just been back in. Sorry, Carl. For somebody who's worked in construction all my life and had my own construction, my dad family business. When you take over a site, you are contracted to do a certain amount of work for that job, and you set out a budget for that job's going to cost. Then that includes men, materials, whatever you're doing. I don't know what it is when Tottenham signed the contract with the Haringey Council to build a new stadium, but I'm sure a percentage of the money was set aside for this redevelopment. So whatever it costs, 2.1 million or 3.1 million, whatever it's going to cost, will be put aside. Now, it should be from the Tavistock group, but it might be the whole thing was a Tottenham Hotspur Football Club contract, if you know what I mean. So I think it's down to the club to do this. This is a club enterprise. So this is part of the contract for building the stadium. Right, Tottenham Hotspur, you want your stadium, you've got it right. You've now got to do this. This is in the contract. So it's a Tottenham Hotspur thing. Yeah, go on, mate.
What I was going to ask them was, I understand that Tottenham obviously is contracted to build it, but say like the cinema, who gets the money from the cinema? Is it Tottenham that get the money from the cinema? Or is it the who owns the actual cinema? Yeah, that's why I don't. That's why I'm not entirely sure.
I think Sean would be the best one to ask about this, but from my own knowledge, I think there'd be a percentage going to Tottenham and a percentage going to the company who owns the cinema. And it could be I don't know who the big cinema complexes are in England, Ellie, so maybe you can tell me that.
Yeah, Cineworld.
Cineworld. It'd be something like, we've got a Cineworld over here.
UGC.
So it'd be Cineworld. So whoever buys the building will get the money. Whatever they make, it's theirs. But I'm sure Tottenham will have a certain percentage. It'd be rented out to them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tottenham will pay them, and then they'll rent it out to Cineworld. Cineworld, then whatever you make, but you pay us probably a monthly rate to rent the building.
Yeah,
I think that's how.
I wonder if the council not get some of it maybe back, depending. I don't know. That's what I'm trying to work out. If the council do get anything from it,
the council will probably get the tax or rates, whatever it is, tax rates over there, or your monthly building tax or whatever will go to the council. But I think for the building itself, if Tottenham own the building, then if they rent it, say to Cineworld, I think this is how it will go. Then whatever they make within the cinema is Cineworld's, but they will have to pay Tottenham, or I think Tottenham or whoever company Tottenham make up for this development. No, might not be Tottenham Hotspur. It could be another company within the ENIC umbrella that will take over this project. Now, to build it, what they would do, they would sub the building out, say, to McAlpine's, a big construction firm, and then it would be subbed out then to local contractors to do the work. So the main party behind it will be ENIC. Then ENIC will sub it out then to a major construction company like McAlpine's or something like that. It's a bit like the Arsenal stadium. Arsenal owned the new ground, but they subbed it out to McAlpine's. Then they subbed it out for the company I work for, who did all the groundworks. So that's how it will happen. And then at the end of the day, with the buildings, I think Tottenham will own everything around the area where they've built. But like the cinema and that, they'll probably rent it out, and they'll probably get a monthly rent on that. And whatever Cineworld make within the cinema is theirs.
Yeah.
I think that's how it works. I've seen Carl Simpson, but look, that's as far as I know from my own knowledge of the construction industry. Everyone's always subbing out everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, when I worked on Terminal 5 and the Olympics, it was one massive contractor, and then that contractor was subbing it out to different contractors around the Olympic Park. So there'd be a different contractor doing the steel work, or different contractor doing the Olympic Stadium. McAlpine's had the Olympic Stadium, the London Stadium. Another contractor had like the swimming pool or the velodrome, and another contractor had the rights for hiring out the machines, which I was under for hiring out the diggers and that to do the work, the mechanical equipment to do the work. So at the end of the day, a percentage will go back to the original owners. So that's what it is. It's a very much backhanders, brown envelopes, paper bags, sort of, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. It's a very murky world. But Tottenham will make money out of this. I can bet my bottom dollar they'll have their finger in some pie along the way. Look, I'll let you two girls get on rest.
Yeah.
Again, I'm going to beam back up to the Enterprise. This is for Carl, by the way, for the comments he's putting in. What factor 7, Mr. Carl? Thank you very much. Sorry.
Yeah. Thanks, Dermot. He's got a good insight into what happens, hasn't he?
Yeah, just because it's really interesting to me. Like, I find all that kind of stuff quite fascinating, and I might have to give a little message to Shawnee and see what he's saying about it all as well, because he obviously knows more about the financial stuff. And I'll bring it back. Any information that I get from him, I'll bring it back to you guys and let you guys know what he's saying. I would be interested to know how it all kind of works when it comes to like the financial side of it, because that's what people's biggest thing is. They're going to be having all these cinemas and blah blah, but they don't, like I say, they rent out the actual buildings, but I'm not sure who is getting the financial gain from that. So it'd be interesting. We've got another super chat. Fantastic. Thank you so much. We've got can we bench diet to the cinema to serve popcorn?
Yes.
I don't think it'd be even serving popcorn, to be honest. You'd probably spill it all over you.
You'd probably just serve salty popcorn.
You wouldn't even be able to hold it properly. Probably just like it'll fall over the place. He'll chuck it. It's the wrong person, probably.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trust him.
Or he'll eat it. Yeah, well done, Angel. That's given us a giggle. Lucky Elias is not in the chat,
Oh God, don't.
You know what I mean?
We've got Angela saying that it's the regeneration for the area that's been in the plans from day dot. If it needs doing, do you think it's the fans are annoyed as that's where the money's going rather than the club? Personally, for me, I think that money was included when we rebuilt the stadium, so it's not anything that would have gone into the club anyway. I think that's probably out of the money that we borrowed, that we probably built. I'm probably saying that's part of it, if I'm honest. So I don't think it's any money that's been taken away from the club because of that. I'm not sure, but what do you think, Ellie?
Well, I think people need to do their research before they actually start complaining, because otherwise you're just going on what you feel's happened, So like, I'm going to do my own research as well, because I don't want to make a judgment until I know the nooks and crannies of everything, and I think fans should do that before they start aiming missiles at Daniel Levy, because they'll do that just to aim missiles really and put him down, which is wrong, because you can't do that when you haven't got all the full facts.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm always somebody who likes to know the facts for to get to know what things are going on and what is just opinion, because opinions, obviously we've all got our own opinions, and that's great. And obviously I respect everyone's opinions, but when people try and make it so opinions are facts, you're like, that's not actually the facts, so you've got to be very careful with misconstruing misconstruing facts and opinions, because they're two different things. So yeah, I'm somebody who likes to get to know. I suppose fans, obviously, people obviously, if they don't understand or don't realise that it was part of what the stadium build was, then maybe that's why people feel that way. 164 Spur, good afternoon all. Good afternoon. I hope you're well.
I love the name.
Dermot beamed in like his own Star Trek. Yes, we know. Deary me. But yeah, LOL Dermot, thank God for that. Enterprise can go on warp speed without you. I don't really know much about the Enterprise. I'm not really a Trekkie person. Not really my thing.
It's going to have the world's longest cinema screen.
I have a cunning plan, Dermot, to buy THFC. There you go, job done.
Come on, Dermot, get your billions out of the safe. You know, we know you've got it under the bath.
He's got a secret safe, like in DuckTales. That's what he's got, a secret little safe.
Don't be telling every fucking body, you two.
He'll be raiding your house tonight.
You're more than welcome.
Leave his best sort of deal, Dermot. Rob here saying, hi, ladies. Oh, someone took it off. Stop interfering, Dermot. I'm pressing it.
Yeah.
Hi, ladies. You're quite safe. Eliza's giving it a big on We Are Tottenham TV.
Oh, God.
Okay, we're all safe.
Yeah, we're safe.
We're safe for now.
Well done, Ben and Sim.
They're taking one for the team. Yeah, they're taking one for the team, aren't they? That's fine. Yeah. They can take one for the team.
Oh my God.
Yes, Dermot's Mr. Duck. Yeah, McDuck, Mr. McDuck out of DuckTales.
McDuck. Oh, Simpson's so funny, man.
If that's the case, does that mean we're Huey, Louie, and Dewey, whatever their names are?
Yeah.
The ducks, the little ducks. That's me, you, and
I'll be
Philip.
Huey, you be Louie. My brother's called Louie. Right.
Oh, dear. Right, let's get back to Tottenham, guys.
Yeah, let's get back to Spurs.
Injury news. Injury news, right. So Bentancur has undergone his knee surgery. So he's looking like he's going to come back in September, which obviously isn't great news. We all knew, though, that it would be a long-term injury with what he'd done. And obviously he's had the operation, so you have to recover from the op and build your strength back up. Obviously, it takes a long time, doesn't it, with that kind of injury, which is really, really unfortunate for him, because obviously Bentancur is such a fantastic player. And he really will be missed in our midfield until September. And even when he comes back in September, it might be a case of he doesn't trust his body. You know, we don't know how he's going to react to the injury. So, but that hopefully he'll come back and he will be okay. It is really, it's very difficult. I do think that with that kind of injury, it can't be rushed back, you know. He has to really make sure that he's okay.
Yeah, true. And I think he will be okay because he's physically very strong, but that is a big injury, so he has to take his time. If they're giving him to September, they know that's roughly about the right time that he's going to be strong enough to play again. So, but like you said, Mia, it's when you go out on that pitch, you always might hold back a little bit, you know, because you're scared to go into a tackle in case you tear your knee ligaments again. So it's one of those things players have to live with, because the ACL injury is probably one of the worst ones you can get. So I just hope he's all right and he keeps his mental strength up as well, because I read recently that he doesn't go to sleep after a match. He's like hyper. So I don't know what he's going to be doing now. You know what I mean? Like he's on the sidelines, but I'm sure still he's got that hyperness about him, and he'll be itching to play as well. So it's quite disappointing for him personally. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope that they somewhat keep him involved in a way. I know he can't play matches, but keep him involved, because I
Yeah,
think that's good for him mentally to try and keep a
yeah,
bit involved in what's going on. Otherwise, he will
yeah,
be like, feeling like left out. And obviously, that's something he loves to do, is play football. And when you can't do the thing that you love, it's going to be horrible for him, just sitting at home doing
I
nothing.
know.
It's
I
not
think
good.
I think Højbjerg will be over his house, and I reckon you'll get a few invites to Højbjerg, because they forged such a brilliant partnership together, and they've got such good understanding. I'm sure they're mates off the field as well, so I'm sure Højbjerg keep his spirits up as well. So I'm hoping Bentancur just keeps himself strong, and they, like you said, keep in the club and make sure that he's wanted, and that he doesn't feel like he's just sitting at home doing nothing. Invite him into the club and that sort of thing. Yeah,
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that's probably the way to go, to kind of
yeah,
keep his morale up, because you
yeah.
don't want him to lose like that thing, got that little special spark about him. And
I
it's
know.
easy when you get an injury to lose that spark sometimes, because you've been injured, you're
Yeah,
sitting out. It's easy as well just to turn to eating and being you're bored and eating, and because he's not going to keep be fit, because he won't be able to do all of the exercises obviously he's been used to doing.
I know.
His body will kind of like lose a bit of his muscle mass, although that's easy to
Yeah,
get back. You are going to lose some of that strength and that speed and everything, because you're not doing it continuously like you normally would be.
yeah. It's true. I mean, even like non-sports people, when you've had an operation, you feel groggy afterwards. And these are like top sportsmen, and he will lose muscle mass. But I'm sure, like, because I think he's a very dedicated man. You can tell, like, when he's on the pitch, he gives it his all, doesn't he? And he's up and down that pitch. He never shirks out of a tough tackle. But he's got all the skill as well, hasn't he, Mia? He's a very technical player. I love the way he pivots on the ball, and he just
I love
swirls
it.
round. Exciting to watch.
Do
It's
you
a
know,
shame
I,
that we lost him.
I hadn't actually only seen him live once, is when I went to go and watch the Everton match in October, and he did
Yeah,
that little turn on the ball. Oh, I loved it. I was like, oh,
no,
he's brilliant, isn't he?
gets
He's
you off,
just so good.
yeah, gets you off your seat, doesn't it? And it makes you excited when you see footballers. And he always pulls it off as well. He doesn't get tackled because he's so good at it. Yeah, I
No,
love
he's very good. He's
Bentancur.
very
Brilliant
skilled
player.
player. So
Yeah,
hopefully, when he does come back, he'll come back fitter,
yeah,
better, fitter than ever. And okay, because really we can't afford not to have the 100% Bentancur back. Like
yeah,
we do need him in that midfield, because he does
true.
offer something a bit different to. I always say with him and Højbjerg, it's a bit yin and yang.
Yeah,
So Højbjerg's a bit different to Bentancur. Bentancur is a bit more like slender. He's a bit more like a ballet dancer. He can swirl
yeah,
that ball. Where
yeah,
Højbjerg's that rough. He'll get in there, stuck in there with the
yeah,
ball. So
yeah,
they're yin and yang in a way, but it really does work well together. Like they
yeah.
really work well together.
True. And I don't know about you, but I think Pepe Sarr could take up that role rather than Skippy,
Definitely.
because a lot
Yeah,
of
yeah.
people were calling for Pepe Sarr to play against West Ham. Skippy
Mm.
did well, but I think Pepe Sarr's got that extra bit of class. He's more composed, he's elegant. He's a bit like Bentancur in a lot of ways. Yeah.
That's what I think, that Højbjerg and Skip are too similar. I think that
Yes, they
Skip's
are.
more like a Højbjerg, where Sarr is more like you say, Bentancur. And I did actually
Yeah.
say that on one of my videos. I said that that's what I think, that he's more like a Bentancur. So I
Yeah.
feel like Sarr could start and be that opposite sort of thing to Højbjerg. But I suppose depending on who we're playing, maybe we need a bit more defence of that kind of, getting stuck in there, depending on who
Yeah.
we're playing. But yeah, and I do think
Definitely.
Sarr is very good. He is very good. He's got such long legs. I'm so
I
jealous of
know.
his long legs. They're
I know.
ridiculous.
And
I'm
he's and
like,
he's
what?
he's slim, but his legs are solid. Like
They
he's
are.
he's got muscle tone on him, hasn't he? And he's strong on the ball. He doesn't lose the ball very often when he goes in for a tackle. And he's very elegant to watch, very exciting to watch. And against AC Milan, he was excellent. I reckon he was our best player that day. I gave him my man of the match anyway.
Yeah, no, definitely. No, he's very good. I really like. So for a
Yeah,
young guy as well, he's still got a long way to go, hasn't he?
yeah,
Like he has got a long way because he's still such a young guy.
yeah.
So yeah,
And I think Conte's kept him rather than the other younger players because of his attitude in training. Because I was reading up as well that he's such a good lad to have in training. He's always committed. You know, you want that in a young player, someone who loves playing football. And it shows on the pitch, doesn't it, Mia, that he enjoys his football and he's very calm on the ball, I've noticed. He doesn't
yeah.
panic.
No, he is very, very calm, very
Yeah,
calm. You know, I do.
yeah,
I really do like him as a player. I think I said it. I can't remember how long ago, but I messaged my brother and said about him. I was like, "Oh, I really like Sarr. I think he's very good." And
yeah,
actually, he agreed with me. Me and my brother both agreed. We don't often agree, me and him, but yeah, no, that was one we did agree on.
yeah.
We have many discussions. So
I know what you
yeah.
mean.
What else? What are we else going to be talking about? Let's have a little look. Oh, sorry, I'll get that up. Oh, I don't know if Dermot's there.
Dermot's gone to the toilet probably, I would imagine, or he might have gone to the Star Trek
All right,
surprise,
let
maybe.
me look. Let me
Got
look
to
at
have
the
a
next
word.
one. I'll bring it up myself. So he got a little injury in the World Cup, and it was taking too long to recover. He was a bit worried. Our Poye said, who's now the manager of the Greece national team.
Oh, yeah,
I think an injury that he had. I think
yeah,
something to do with injury, similar injury. Then
yeah, the
when he's
ACL.
coming back, this bad one, he's young, he'll recover fully. It's just to make sure he follows the protocol of the doctors and physios. When you do it properly, you are strong.
Yeah,
And then it said, mentally, you recover fully. I had my injury at the age of 29. I played until I was 36. That shows you can make a full recovery. So yeah, he's speaking about the
yeah,
injury, and then he's saying about his previous injury that he had, and that
yeah,
he managed to come back until he was 36, which is a good age, isn't it? Really, let's be honest.
yeah. Like it's
Um,
another
yeah,
7 years, isn't it? So he done really
yeah,
well. Yeah,
yeah.
even
No, he did
Gazza
really,
after
really
his
well.
ACL done okay because he went to Lazio, then he came back and he played for Everton, played for Glasgow Rangers, and he had the full career after he had his ACL. So you can be just as strong as long as you look after yourself and follow the
Yeah, no, that's
protocol,
it.
like they said. Yeah,
Yeah, no, absolutely. Right, so
yeah.
now we're going to speak about quickly about Jordan Pickford signing a
All
new
right.
4.5 year deal to Everton. So he's now signed that deal, so he's committed to his future, even though their relegation threatened Toffees, despite Tottenham's interest. So, are you happy about this? Are you happy about this? Because was Jordan picked for someone that you wanted at Tottenham?
No, I didn't. To tell you the truth, I don't think he's a bad keeper. He's a very good keeper, but I just didn't think he was good enough to take over the reins from Lloris because we want another step up from Lloris, and he's about the same level or maybe even worse. But I just feel that there's better keepers that we can go after. I like Jose Sarr and I like Areola as well. The one who's deputising. Well, he's not really deputising at West Ham. It's just because he's injured. So Fabianski stepped in. So I liked him at Fulham as well. I thought he was a very, very good keeper, very competent, brilliant shot stopper. They're both brilliant with their feet as well that you need in this day and age, Mia. So no, I'm not really sad about that one. No.
Yeah, no, I'm the same. I wasn't really thinking that Jordan Pickford would be someone I would want us to look at. I wasn't particularly enamoured by him. I was a bit like, not for me. Like you say, there's plenty of other really skilled goalkeepers out there, young enough, for us to be like, yeah, we'll get them because they, a good age.
Yeah.
And could have room for development as well. So, and to room to stay for a while. But yeah, Jordan
Yeah.
Pickford wasn't one for me. I can't think at the top of my head because I'm a bit today, but there's plenty of other goalkeepers that are better, 100%. The Southampton keeper, I like him. I think that's what Raya we've been looking at. I like him. I think
Yeah.
he's really
He's
good.
very good.
So yeah, there's obviously the
Also
Leeds
Martinez
one.
as
I
well.
think
Martinez is
Martinez. Yeah, I
always
think they
tightened
asked for a
up.
big fee
I
for
don't
him
know
though.
about him. He's prone for a lot of errors. Like, you know, when we mentioning him coming up and not getting back for that Arsenal goal, that was terrible goalkeeping.
Yeah.
So if you go up, you've got to run back, haven't you, Mia? And he didn't even try.
Oh,
Just left his goal
try,
open.
no, but I won't speak on that. Otherwise, I get told off that I don't know.
No, don't worry. It's sometimes you get told off because people don't agree with you. Sorry, but you know, you stick to your guns, Mia. You don't let anybody sway you, which is a brilliant trait to have.
The thing is, I thought that he made the reason that I believe that he could have done better is because if you know you're going forward for that, to do that, you have to either make sure you're covered or make sure you're going to run back, because it just allows a goal to be scored against you. Now, if it comes into the season and goal difference matters, that goal is going to matter. You know, it's a needless goal to give away. And I understand that there was a possible gain to obviously having him there, but always run back. You see, keepers do it all the time, but they run back or they get they're covered. So I feel like that was probably a bit of a silly thing to do when he wasn't going to be covered, and goal difference could be a difference sometimes. So it's a silly goal concede, in my opinion. That was just my opinion. So I'm not right. I'm not saying I'm right. That's just purely how I see it.
I know. I think Aston Villa shot themselves in the foot in that game, and also letting Danny Ings go to West Ham. That was a stupid move as well.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
That really was stupid. They've left with themselves with really one clear striker. Really, the others are like wingers and not real strikers, out and out strikers. And like they're going to lose a lot of games because of that.
And as well, Villa, another big money owned team. They've got their owners are worth a lot of money as well.
Yeah, I know.
Like, they've got a lot of money.
Stupid decision.
Yeah, no, it was silly. So we're going to go into the next thing. Now, this one's a bit of can be a controversial. Tottenham leaving news.
Come on,
let's go on this. Let's see where we're going. Mr. Levy has banks a pay rise and more than 500,000 amidst Tottenham's fans' unrest. So he's Tottenham Hotspur chairman Daniel Levy awarded himself a pay rise of more than £500,000. What do you think about that, Ellie?
The thing is, I don't like to judge him all on the football side. I'm thinking the business side. He has done a lot of good because he's brought in a lot of revenue to the club. So if it's just him that's rewarded himself, but I suppose the board had some sort of say in it. I'm not sure, but I would have thought they would have. But yeah, I mean he deserves it in that respect because he has brought in a lot of revenue, which is going to bode well for future, because all the commercial side is building up at Spurs. So as long as they pump the money back into the team as well, because that's what I think fans are more concerned about, not just his pay rise, as if the other money that's being generated at the club goes back into team investment, Mia. I mean, that's my take on it anyway.
Well, Carl Simpson here says, even if you are leaving in or out, he doesn't help himself. And I do kind of agree. Some of the things he does do, he kind of cuts his nose to spite his face. Because saying, like, obviously this announcement of him getting a pay rise is really not the right time probably to say that, like, for that to happen. It's probably a little bit of why are you doing it now kind of thing, even if financially, you know, it's feasible and they've agreed, because obviously he doesn't obviously, I don't think he owns the lesser share, so I'm sure that Lewis would have to some say on if he got a pay rise. I don't think he could just say I'm getting a pay. That would obviously have to be discussed. So, but I do think sometimes his timing can be a little bit silly, a bit foolish sometimes, because people don't see you in the best of lights. And then you're saying, oh, look, I'm getting this amount pay rise. And people are just like, hold on a minute. Well, we didn't get this player or this player and blah, you know, and you're getting this pay rise. So I do kind of get it where people kind of are coming from. However, I'm not somebody who's leaving in or leaving out. I can see that they've done wrong and he's done other things correctly. So I'm very much can sit from both sides, and I try and always see things in like a fair way. So if he deserves it, then obviously everyone's entitled to get a pay rise. But I do feel like it's a bit, the timing is a bit silly for him to just this to be announced. You know,
Yeah,
it's
true.
a bit of a not good timing. Levy to Lewis, I'm going to give myself a cheeky bonus. Yeah, probably going. He just called him and went, yeah. By the way, I'm just giving myself a little bonus. Yeah, little cheeky bonus. It's like a cheeky Nando's. I'm just going for a little cheeky Nando's. Yeah, with my cheeky bonus.
I was reading that he gave himself lesser bonus this time round than from the Champions League, because obviously the Champions League, when we went to the final, that created a lot of revenue as well. So it makes sense that he gave himself a smaller pay rise. But I can see the fans' point of view, but the thing is, that's another thing. We don't know all the ins and outs of this, why he got the £500,000 bonus. So that's something the fans should research before they lay a judgment on Levy as well. You know,
no, that's it.
You can't just throw stones when you don't know what you're throwing them at.
Yeah, that's why I always try and see things like, obviously, possibilities. Like there's lots of different scenarios. You know, there's lots of different possibilities. Yeah, I always try and see it like that, and think about like the bigger picture in a way. So yeah, I do understand it, like I say, from both points of view.
Yeah.
So let us know what you think in the comments. Obviously, Carl Simpson is making himself very clear.
He's put his
also, don't forget,
working.
Don't forget to hit that like button, everybody. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and think about possibly, if you can, to join the membership. The memberships aren't majorly expensive. We understand that not everyone's got money at the moment, but every little helps. And if you can't, a super chat here and there would also, if you can, possibly do that. It all really helps towards the channel, improving the channel. You know, everything's for the betterment of the channel. And we make it better for you guys. So our aim of it is to make it better for you guys.
True. And I think they're only $2.99 for the.
Right, so we're going to go on to. So we're going to go on to the Tottenham versus Chelsea history. Well, I'm going to tell you guys now, it's not great. It's really not great. So our first ever game, we lost to them in December of 1909 in Division 1. That was it. So we've obviously we didn't get off to a great start. Yeah. And then the Premier League, we have played 61, won 21, lost 33. Goals for 57 and goals against 110.
Wow.
Awful
record.
Like,
I think probably that's the worst record against any club. Maybe just Liverpool beat that, I would imagine. I reckon our one against Liverpool's better than that, actually. That's really bad.
Yeah, it is bad. We do concede a lot of goals against Chelsea, don't we? And then if you look at the more modern times, it's played 174, won 54, drawn 43, lost 77, and goals for 240 and goals against 270. So in the more modern era, we've scored some more goals, but we've nearly conceded as many as we've actually scored. So that's not great either.
And you know what, really Chelsea, if you take away their more recent history and you go back, say, 30 years, I mean, we were the more dominant club, especially in the 60s and the early 70s and the early 80s. We were right up there with the challenging for all the sort of major trophies as well. It's just in the modern era where they had they're pumping their money in from Roman Abramovich.
Well, if you look back, actually, pre-money, we had more trophies than Chelsea.
We did.
So pre-money, that we had a lot more. So they weren't really a team until they got that money. So that's why obviously their nickname is a bit. People call them plastic, because obviously they got that money and then they become this big club. But really, historically, Chelsea weren't particularly a big club. They've only in modern times have become a bigger club because of that injection of money. So they're definitely somebody who have. It's the same with City. City, when I was a kid in the 90s, they weren't anything known. They weren't really a team that were known for being winners or being up there, not at all.
No.
So yeah, even in the modern day, like past 6 games, when we go back to like 6 games, we've actually lost 5 and drew 1. It's really bad. Like our history with Chelsea is just awful. But Carl Simpson says it's all good. We're lulling Chelsea into a false sense of security. Oh, are we though, Carl? Are we? I don't know about that one. I'm not sure about that. I can never say confidently about Chelsea because it is a team we notoriously just don't turn up either, Ellie, do we? We just don't.
Yeah, we don't.
Mentally, we have a block. We just have a mental block with Chelsea.
The more we don't turn up, the more they turn up. They actually turned up. They really turned us over at their grand. It was 2-0. Like no, that they went 1-0 up, and then Højbjerg equalised. But they were all over us. They battered us. But we just came out with a 2-2 draw. But I'm just worried about this game because everybody's getting quietly confident. But I'm not. Because they're our bogey team. We've got to be on our guard. We've got to be right up there, like at our best. Otherwise, they're going to turn us over easily because they're gelling.
100%.
They will gel as a team. They will. It's just because they've got new players, Mia, and they have to gel, right? Because they're all new to one another. But when they gel, they're going to rocket Chelsea. They will, because they always do.
They do. Well, Dermot put in a comment here from 1990 to 2006. We did not beat them in the league from the old First Division and the Premier League. It's terrible. Yeah. Absolutely terrible.
That victory we had against them. I mean, in not the 2008 Cup final, it's when Glenn Hoddle and Mickey Hazard, when we beat them 3-1 at Stamford Bridge. That was one of the rarities that we beat them. You know, even in those years. Yeah. It's just one of those things. You've got bogey teams, haven't you, Mia?
Yeah. You think like Man City, they don't like playing us because we're their bogey team.
Yeah, we are.
So Dermot's put in a question to us. I was only very young at this point, but question to the panel and the chat: who scored in the last time we beat them in 1989?
What, in the league? Probably, I would say 1989. Is that the time? Just thinking what the score was.
Can I just quote that question? Sorry, it was the last time we beat them in the league before we went on our 1990-2006 losing streak. So we beat them 2-1 at Stamford Bridge. It's the 2 Tottenham players who scored that day.
Probably Glenn Hoddle was one of them.
He wasn't playing for Tottenham at the time. This is 1989.
No. He had gone, hadn't he?
Yeah. Terry Venables was the manager.
1989.
I was 7 years old, you know.
Robbie Keane?
No.
No, it wouldn't have been.
Do you want a clue?
Yeah.
Right. One of them who scored played for Barcelona.
Archibald.
No.
Yeah, not Archibald.
No.
Gary Lineker?
Yeah, he was one.
And the other, Gary Lineker.
He played for 89. So he played in every position for Tottenham and played mostly all of his career at Spurs.
Every position at Tottenham and mostly.
His first name's David.
David Howes.
That's it.
Howes
and Lineker actually scored. Gary Lineker was the last person to score the winning goal against Chelsea before we beat them again in 2006. Yeah, and since then, we're actually on the minute of we haven't beaten them. We haven't beaten Chelsea in the league since 2018, which was the 3-1 win at Wembley, We've lost 1, 2,
Yeah.
3,
That's when
4,
Sonny scored
5,
a brilliant goal.
6, 7, 8, 9. We've lost 9, drawn 3 since then. The last people scores was Ali, Kane, and Son, and a 3-1 win.
I remember we beat them 5-3 once at White
and
Lane.
the last time we beat them in any competition was the League Cup semi-final first leg of 2019. We won 1-0 at Wembley. Harry Kane scored the penalty.
I went to that game.
Since then, we have lost. We haven't beaten them since then, and we drew them 2-2 in August. So we
beat them in the League Cup as well. In the League Cup quarter-final at White Lane, didn't we?
No, this is from
when we went on to beat. That's
Ellie,
what I'm saying.
No, Ellie, this is from 2019. This is from 2019. 2019. Last time we beat them in the league is 2018. We beat them 3-1. We beat them 3-1 at Wembley, and we haven't beaten them in the league since then.
No, we haven't. But I know we beat them in the League Cup.
We beat them. We beat 1-0 in the the last week when we got them in any competition was the League Cup 1-0 semi-final, which we lost on penalties in the second leg. But yeah, we've got a very, very poor record against Chelsea. Absolutely. Heaviest defeat,
recently,
biggest win.
We've lost to them.
Really bad record.
This is another.
I was saying in our last 2 cup games we've played against them.
We've only scored 7 goals against them since then in that run of defeats. And they've scored 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. They've scored 22 goals against us, and we've only scored 7. We haven't got a hope in hell.
Record. If you're going on that record, we might as well not turn up on the pitch.
No.
Might as well just give them the 3 points.
They've always had over us. I mean, they've always had over us. I mean, we've never really dominated Chelsea. We did. The longest run we had was 1945 to 1952, where we won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We won 8 games in a row against Chelsea. That's the longest run we've had against them.
Yeah. When did we beat them in the League Cup?
My dad wasn't even born then, I don't think.
What year was it when we beat them in the League Cup? When Mason Mount?
It was the League Cup finals, 2008.
No, not that one. The one at White Lane where we knocked them out the League Cup, and then we played Brentford and beat them in the semi-final that year.
I don't know.
That was quite recent. That's because my son-in-law is a Chelsea fan, and he was around.
Hold on, why are you checking that?
I'm checking it now.
I think it was 2000.
Just say hello to a few people who could have come in. Lisa has come in, so
Lisa.
So hello to Lisa.
Would you want all with the Melly?
We've got my Hotspur in the house.
That's it. We won 5-4 on penalties. Yeah.
Yeah, it still.
What year was that? 2020.
Yeah, we're still drawn. It wasn't a win after 90 minutes. They don't class penalties as win. After 90 minutes, it was a 1-1 draw.
Yeah, but we won the match. That's what I mean by penalties. That's all.
Yeah, but it doesn't classify as an overall.
It's a shame, isn't it?
Sorry, Mia.
We could have counted that one, Dermot, but they're not counting it.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. We're clutching at straws.
Yeah. Well, Lisa here says that she usually dreads this fixture, but we tied the bridge and then they can't back us for a result. Well, I'm glad there's some people out there that are confident, but I'm not so confident. I'm not going to lie.
No.
Look, if we come out, guys, full of confidence and did what we did against Man City, I think we built them. Chelsea's a team low on confidence at the moment.
Yeah.
They've got a manager that isn't good enough to manage them. They've got players that don't know each other. But I will say this with a warning. Do not take this game lightly. No. Chelsea could turn up and do us over. Yeah. They've lost to Southampton last week. They could turn up today and do us over. on the weekend.
Yeah.
And we don't play well at 12:30 kickoffs anyway. So, I don't know. I do not know. But look,
it's just one of those things, Dermot. You know, we have to be on our guard because they're going to be up for this game. Because they don't like us. Their players, especially, they want to do us over. So we've got to be on our guard, make sure we're up for it from the first whistle to the end. If
Mia,
anything.
Where would you, if you could give a score line, what would your score line be?
Is she there?
I don't know.
Hello?
Yeah,
sorry. Someone knocked on my door, and it was somebody trying to sell me something. He told me to do not. So I told him, yeah, lucky I didn't like you. I know I didn't like you anyway. See, told you. I'm out.
He's a gooner, not buying anything off a gooner.
Hell no.
Nah.
Laters.
No one. Laters.
All right. What would your score line be on Sunday, Mia?
Oh, I've already given my score prediction. So if you want to go and see it, you have to go and watch my video. Sorry.
That's it. Good one, Mia. Keep them on 10 notes.
Ellie, what are you going for a score line?
I said last night 2-2. I think it's going to be a repeat of the Stamford Bridge score. I don't think we've got it in us to win it. I think it's going to be a 2-2.
I'm going for... Do you know what? I'm going for 2-0 win. Or 1-0 win. I think if we score first, you watch Chelsea's heads drops. They'll drop. They've got no confidence. They don't know what they're doing. The manager doesn't know what they're doing. Chelsea are in disarray. This reminds me of the Chelsea team of the the middle 90s, when they were always around mid-table and sort of on the start of when the Ken Bates owned them. At the Ulster, when Ken Bates owned Warren Abramovich came in, this reminded me of the Chelsea team then. Good results, bad results. They're only 11 points off the relegation.
We could push them a bit nearer then.
No, but the point is, a lot of Chelsea fans now don't realise
if they got relegated.
Yeah, I mean, Mia, you've said it before. A lot of these Chelsea fans don't realise what they were like pre-Abramovich. Do you know?
Yeah.
Especially in the 80s, they were up and down, up and down.
They don't know their history.
No, because they've got a lot of new fans as well, haven't they? They've got a lot of young new fans. Because when I watch the podcast, it's all young people. There's not one old person on there. And they're all talking about the modern times because they don't know what happened before. They haven't got a clue about their history.
No. Well, look, you could say the same about us as well, Ellie. We've got a lot of new fans that don't know our history. They think our history starts with...
That's why we're here to educate.
Yeah, I don't think they listen to us, though, mind you. Probably not listen to me, but they probably listen to you and Mia. The glamour ladies of the channel. They don't listen to the likes of me and Philip. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they do. Yes, they do.
No, they don't. Right. Shall we end it there, gentlemen, ladies?
Yep. You know what?
Go on.
You've done a really good job today. I really appreciate you coming in and giving us a little bit of the lowdown on other things that we weren't quite sure on as well. And
Mia will put me into the dungeon later for coming on. That's what she's going to be doing later.
Yeah, maybe.
You go down to that dungeon.
It's dark and dingy down there.
Yeah, it is dark and dingy. You only let me out this time for a show.
You'll have to take your Star Trek button down there, Dermot.
Beam me up, Scotty. Beam me up, Carl. Mia, where can people find you? If not on here, where else can people find you? Please, because you have a fantastic channel. Really well done. I love listening to it. Love watching it. You do a fantastic job. Where can people find you?
I'm at Spurs Between the Lines. I don't know if Dermot did get the link in the end because I couldn't do it. But yeah, if you just search it, I'm there. I do reviews, I do previews, and I do 3 lives a week with that. I do it early in the mornings, 8:45 UK time. So if you're around, come and say hello, have a nice morning chat with me. And we talk about all things Spurs really, and then obviously I do other little things in between. Like I've done some past games reviews, like the Arsenal game when we were playing Arsenal. I did some reviews of our old games against them. So yeah, I put quite a bit of content out there. So if you could go give it a watch and a like, I would really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, and of course you can find me and Ellie on here on THFC Till I Die. We are working on the ladies channel that Ellie does. We are looking to get content up on there. That will be happening soon at Queen Ellie Spurs ladies channel. We will be doing that for some there. So that will be up and running soon, where anything to do with Spurs ladies, it will be linked there. We are going to rename the channel because I think there's a bit of a mouthful.
Yeah,
what
it
we've
is.
called it. So there will be a new name. It'll be slightly rebranded, but that is where you will find Ellie and ladies. Ellie and the ladies over there doing her lady show. You'll find Ellie on here as well with me and Philip and Mia doing debates. Whenever Newsround, she's with me 3 days a week. Mia's with me Tuesdays and Thursdays. We're doing debates. We've got a lot of stuff coming up in the next week, and then the following week I will be in England before the AC Milan match. Me and Ellie do a live show Monday or Tuesday night from a pub somewhere in Tottenham, which will be fun, Ellie.
It will be.
So Philip will be joining us live from his house. Me and Ellie are in a pub somewhere. So we are going to do that, and then there will be some live morning 10-15 minute stuff from outside Tottenham Hotspur Stadium uploads. Then, of course, we're doing a match blog on the day. Me and Ellie will be doing some stuff, interviewing AC Milan fans. I think we're going to try to do as well, and interview Spurs fans, get them up. And I will be doing a travel blog as well, my journey over. And then I'm doing the match day blog as well, my journey to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So I've got plenty coming up between now and then. Everyone have a lovely rest of your Friday. We're all now going to go over and get ready for the Irish Hotspurs fan show. Seeking beat Mia over there now. She's beaten me 3 or 4 times in a row, so I want to beat her this time. And thank you, girls, again. Fantastic show. Really enjoyed it. Absolutely, really enjoyed it, and I really appreciate it. Do you want to take us out, Mia?
Oh no, I don't know. You're here now. You're the big boss man, isn't it? I don't know. I'm just like, I feel like wrong being up here when the big boss man's down there.
All right. Well, listen. Whatever you do, take care of yourself. Have a lovely Friday. Come on, you Spurs. In Conte and Stellini we trust. And come on, you Spurs women. We can win at the weekend.